Hey guys, welcome to my super guide for LASH. In this video, I'm going to teach you guys how you can play LASH to his utmost potential, so far as I'm aware obviously, and I'm going to teach you some movement tech that will help you play LASH. I think when it comes to movement in this game, LASH is the best at utilizing movement, and he's also the best character to play when you're trying to learn how to move correctly. Let's get into it. Okay, so for this guide, I've gone ahead and separated into 8 different segments. The first segment will be the items, the ones that are necessary or core, the situational items, and the personal build that I use. Number 2 will be necessary movement tech that you need to know in order to play LASH effectively and honestly to play the game effectively. I'll also show off a little route that I do in the sandbox whenever I'm bored to kind of practice that movement and get a good handle on my mechanics. Number 3 will be the goals that you have in lane. Obviously when you're winning versus losing will be different, so I'll separate those as well. Then number 4 will be goals, your goals in the game. Obviously again when winning and losing. Number 5, how to take duels, which will be one-on-ones. Number 6, how to take proper team fights. Number 7, the best buffs that you want to look for on the map and call out to your teammates, hey, if this buff's there, like, let me pick it up. And then number 8, the counters to LASH, as well as the characters that you're really good against when you play LASH. Okay, let's get into the first part. Items. So on LASH, I would say that early game, you want to build mainly weapon damage. I personally like to buy Headshot Booster in close quarters because they give me a bit of an advantage in fights when my aim is hitting. And then I would say that you need to buy extra charge and extra stamina. These are definitely the 4 items I would look to buy first every single game. But obviously you can buy Enduring Spirit, Extra Spirit, Healing Rate, Extra Regen. All these items are valid if you're falling behind in the lane. When we talk about core items for LASH, we're mainly referring to Rapid Recharge and Superior Stamina, which are extensions of Extra Charge and Extra Stamina. These 2 items are super core because they make up his entire movement basically. Rapid Recharge gives you the 3rd charge of your grapple, which is your primary movement ability. And then Extra Stamina gives you all the stamina bars you need to actually do the movements that you need to do in order to excel on him. So, in terms of damage, in terms of damage, we're looking at Pristine Emblem is one of the best items for weapon damage. Mystic Shot, really good as well, since LASH always builds sort of a mixture of weapon damage and spirit damage. Improved cooldown is also super core early game because we want to reduce the cooldown on everything in our kit. LASH's abilities are very impactful. Every single one of them does something huge, so you want to buy improved cooldown to reduce the cooldown on all of them. Next up, I want to talk about situational items. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Moving on, yeah. Let's take a look at some situational items. I would say that the best situational items in the game for LASH are, let's begin with laning phase and your defensive options. Monster Rounds is good for when you're behind and you want to farm. Restorative Shot as well is okay, but I would usually take Healing Right over it. Extra Regen is also good, very situational. Hollow Point Ward, excellent item against early Spirit Poke like Lady Geist or Great Talon. Really good against them. Basic Magazine I usually never buy, but if you really feel like shooting some extra bullets, it's okay. It's like a decent option. When we talk about good situational items, though, for sure, I'm mostly referring to these here, and I'll explain them right now. The armors are really good, but only worth building if someone is either really ahead with like a specific kind of damage, or if their whole team in general is building like bullet damage or spirit damage. If they're mostly mixed, it's not really worth investing in the armors until late game, when they kind of become a necessity or you just get popped. Situational items early game, Reactive Barrier is one of my favorite items in the game. It completely counters so many good alts that the enemies have, like for example Mo and Krill ult. It stuns you, immediately pops the shield, and you're good to go. The cooldown on this thing is absolutely ridiculous. It's only 30 seconds, so you can actually trade and chill and then trade again against anyone who has CC. It's also really, really good against Wraith. Completely negates her ult damage pretty much. So she ults you, and then she's spraying her bullets and carding you, and you eat most of her damage, I would say, early game. Other situational items, Healbane, really, really good against healers like Infernus and Lady Geist. Debuff Reducer, really good against CC and like overtime damage, like Shiv's Bleed, Infernus Fire, CC like Mo and Krill again. It reduces the duration of all of those negative effects. Combat Barrier and Enchanter's Barrier are two of my favorite items as well. They are really, really good when you're ahead and just okay, and or maybe even a little worse if you're behind. They're really good when you're ahead because the enemies are already behind and they're doing like little raw damage. So 300 bullet shield against someone who's already doing little damage makes a big, big difference. And your weapon damage while shielded is plus 28%, so you're getting a shield and damage at the same time, and you're getting some base health. So overall, definitely really good looking into these items whenever you're in the lead. In terms of these $6,300 items, I would say that they're pretty much all situational. Mystic Reverb, good, but rarely are you going to build that because Lash needs to buy so many $3,000 items. You're usually better off like investing your money into armor and things like that, but Mystic Reverb is definitely good. Diviner's Kevlar, really, really, really good super late game. Gives you a big shield, lets you take some risks with your ult. Boundless Spirit is just a spirit upgrade. Spiritual Overflow is okay. Leech, Soul Rebirth and Unstoppable, really good if you're like the main carry on your team. Inhibitor is okay. Curse is also okay, but you most of the time you won't be building these unless you're like just kind of like a support Lash, which is a little weird. Lash is kind of like a carry character, I would say. So you're mostly looking to build damage and survivability for yourself. You can be selfish with him and building him. This is pretty much that what I just explained is pretty much my build. So not only did I explain situational items, but I explained what I'll usually be building in a game. But just to make it clear, I'll run through everything real quick so we can take a look at everything that I built. So at the start of the game, I'm definitely usually buying Headshot Booster, Close Quarters, early game. Sometimes I'll buy High Velocity Mag, then Extra Stamina, Enduring Spirit, Mystic Burst, Extra Charge, all valid items. Hollow Point Ward if I'm going against spirit damage or if I'm like ahead and I'm not really taking a lot of damage, it's really, really good. So I'll just buy it just for now. And then going into the mid game, I usually always save as soon as I can, unless I have to buy Reactive Barrier. Like if I'm laning into like a Wraith, I'll buy Reactive Barrier. But if not, I will save that money and just go straight into like a Superior Stamina because it really changes the way that you play the game on Lash when you get these 3 extra stamina and the air jump and dash distance. But I'll just buy Reactive Barrier just, you know, for the sake of the explanation. Then, from this point, you want to usually buy Pristine Emblem, assuming you have your first flex slot. Even if you don't, it's okay to buy Pristine Emblem and just get rid of, like, High Velocity Mag or get rid of Close Quarters or something. And any one of those items, getting rid of it for Pristine is really good. From that point on, if you wanted to have already bought like improved cooldown or mystic shot, those are also valid choices. Of course, this is all very situational, so that's why I can't exactly tell you what to buy every time. You kind of just have to look at what you're doing in the game and what you're trying to do next and decide based on that. But these items in general are really good on him. So if you have like 3,000, then buy Pristine Emblem. But obviously, don't save for it. If you're like, if you just fought somebody you want to fight, you go back. It's definitely good to just buy Mystic Shot or Improved Cooldown. Improved Cooldown is really good. It's good to buy early. Now I'll buy, in the mid game, I'll buy Rapid Recharge first. Then I'll look to buy Superior Cooldown on my W, or sorry, on my 2. Sorry, I'm a League player, it's my second ability. At this point, it's potentially possible that I may have already bought like an Enchanter's Barrier as well. And of course, at this point, the build's already looking pretty expensive, and you're like leaning into the late game. When we get into the late game and you start gaining some flex slots, I look to buy armor. Depending on what the enemy carries have a lot of damage or like a lot of spirit or a lot of bullet damage. Then I'll look to buy Improved Burst. The order of this stuff is like negligible, guys. Like you don't really need to take what I'm saying as like the gospel. It doesn't really matter what order you buy stuff in. It's just very situational. On like when you're ahead, buy like some spirit damage or like buy Rapid Recharge early. When you're behind, buy like Mystic Shot because Mystic Shot just does like a burst of damage, so it helps you be useful. And then obviously, like if you're really ahead and they only have like one guy on the enemy team who's carrying, then you can buy Spirit Armor. But like I always explain in the comments when people ask me to make like build guides and stuff, this stuff is very, very difficult to like tell you exactly what to build always. So you just kind of have to eyeball it yourself and then learn to pick the right thing in the right situation. Anyways, I've been talking about the builds for a long time, so let's go ahead and move on to the next part. Okay, segment number 2. Let's talk about necessary movement and the tech that you need to know in order to play LASH and in order to play the game effectively. Let's keep it simple first. A forward dash into a slide is something that everybody needs to know. Okay, remember, always, always, always slide after you dash unless you're going uphill. Especially if you're going downhill, it's very noticeable, but don't do it when you're going uphill. It does nothing. But on horizontally flat landscape, you can slide after every dash to maximize your movement. It's especially good in lane when you dash away from somebody and you can slide behind cover. It's really good. A lot of people don't do this in low MMR, and well, you're just taking a lot of extra bullets for no reason when you do that. Okay, movement tech number 2 is the dash jump. You're going to dash forward and jump at a certain timing in order to maximize the speed of a movement. It does take an extra stamina bar, and it's basically the same as dashing forward twice, but it is a more fluid, faster, and it takes you a slight little bit further. It'll take you further once you buy extra stamina as well and you add in the next dash. But as you guys can notice, I'm doing this right now with no items. So you can definitely do this, like these movements that I'm showing at first are done with no items. Let's do that again, the dash jump. You'll notice that there's a timing to it, and if you do it too early, I'll turn on fast stamina, sorry. And if you do it too early, it'll say that you failed the dash jump timing, and if you do it too late, it'll again say that you failed the dash jump timing. The timing of this is visible on your stamina bar. It'll flash blue for a second, but like you guys just saw, it's hard to react to, so it's better to just get a handle on it yourself, like instinctively, and just practice and just spam it a little bit until you get the hang of it. Once you've learned the two techniques, you'll mix them like I've been doing here. You'll be sliding forward, and you can do it in any direction you want. It's especially useful when you're fighting somebody and you want to mix and match your movement. Okay, let's get a bit more advanced. So the two little techniques that I just showed you are very, very simple, and if you just watch any deadlock movement guide on YouTube, they'll explain it a lot better than I did and go into detail about how you keep the momentum if you do this, and like there's a whole bunch of things that you guys can learn just by watching a different YouTube video. And at the end of the day, this is a LASH guide, so I don't really want to talk about actual movement, I want to talk about LASH movement. So let's get into LASH movement. Let's mix our grapple with some dashes. If you grapple on top of an enemy, it will take you directly to the opposite end of them. Once again, I'll showcase it. Grapple, you'll show up on the direct opposite end of them, right? That's the base grapple movement without me pressing any other buttons. Now, once I start mixing up some buttons, if I turn around and do my one as I'm landing on them, you'll have Lash's most simple combo, which is grapple on somebody and smash them with your #1 ability, right? That combo is very, very simple and very easy to execute. And I don't want to talk about simple combos and executions because I think anybody could figure this out pretty easily. I want to talk about techniques that you can use to enhance your LASH gameplay. There's two primary techniques, and we're going to need superior stamina for these. So we're going to go ahead and buy superior stamina. We're going to buy rapid recharge, and you'll see with these extra stamina bars, I can do some things that a lot of people won't be able to do without the extra stamina and on different characters. So LASH's primary skill combination is the ability to dash as many times as you want once you grapple again. So when you grapple, right now I have fast stamina, so my stamina bars are recharging and I have infinite stamina. But LASH's grapple, which is #2, gives back your air dashes every time you use it, and it gives back your jump as well. So you can jump and you can dash all over the place, so long as you keep grappling, and so long as you have stamina, obviously. That allows you to get really creative and do a lot of fun things with him. I would recommend just practicing in the sandbox. I'll show you the sandbox route that I do in just a little bit, so you guys can practice the movement just like I do. But this is his real like bread and butter. And here's where I make the most important note of this video. Okay, so pay very, very close attention because it really is the most important thing I can tell you about LASH. And the most important thing about LASH is that if you're fighting on the ground, you fucked up. Okay, it sounds a little weird because you know we're playing a game where people walk around, but LASH does not walk around. So if you're fighting on the ground, it means you either fucked up or you were forced into a bad situation, or it's like towards the end of a fight. You want to take majority of your fights in the air. You want to always be in the air as you shoot your enemies. You want to go from like the top of a place to another top of the place. So you want to go from like here, you want to go here, get on top of here, right? I just fucked that up, sorry. But you want to go to
the top of buildings, you want to shoot down on your enemies, you want to jump down at them, and you don't want to be here unless you can kill them. You don't want to be on the ground. Lash is an air walker. That's what makes him strong. You are literally like an airbender from the last airbender from Avatar. And that's the whole point of playing this character. You do majority of your fighting in the air, and you don't fight when you can't be in the air. You run away if you're running out of stamina, and you reposition yourself and you come back from a different angle where you get to the top of a building like I showed. That is 100% the most crucial thing to note about Lash. With that being considered, I want to show you guys two little movement techs that I've learned by watching one of the best Lash players. His name is Fishcake, and I would recommend watching one of his VODs as well. He's really, really good, and he's pretty much the player that I take a look at when I look at like how I want to play my Lash, and I model my Lash around his Lash. So this guide is kind of like based on his gameplay, but obviously I've adapted it into my own playstyle as well, since I'm a very aim-heavy player, considering that I come from Valorant mostly, and I spent like years playing that game. Sorry for the yeah. Let's get into the advanced movement techs, and there's two of them that I really need to showcase. Let's get started with the first one. The first movement tech is related to the zipline. When you jump on the zipline, and you jump off using your jump button, your momentum gets cancelled. However, if you do the exact same thing, but use your crouch button to get off, you'll see that your momentum stays and you go a lot further. This is a technique that can be used on any character in the game, regardless of superior stamina, but it's especially good on Lash because you can use it to go from jungle camp to jungle camp, as I'll showcase in some of the VODs that I show later in the video. Now, the second technique I want to show off in this video, and it's an advanced technique that's a bit more difficult than the previous one, and it's a lot more difficult than all the other movement techniques that I've explained so far, though those other ones were pretty simple, is how to cancel your forward momentum as you dash forward and then dash somewhere again. I'll showcase that right now. If you dash forward from a height and then you try dashing to the side, you'll notice that it's more of a diagonal dash than a straight to the right dash, or wherever, like whichever direction you're gonna go. So again, I'm gonna showcase it one more time. I'm gonna dash forward like this. I'm going to dash forward like this, then I'm going to dash to the side. Right there I dashed purely to the right side, but it moved me diagonally. I wasn't even holding my forward key. Now, a technique you can use, like I said, to cancel that forward momentum is looking in the opposite direction of the direction that you're going to dash. So let's just try it out real quick. I'm going to jump off, dash, and then I'm going to dash to the left by looking to the right. You guys saw that it canceled my momentum, right? Dash forward, look to the right, and dash to the left. It cancels your momentum. Alternatively, you can dash a little earlier by looking purely in the direction that you're going to dash. The direction that you're looking in changes where you're dashing a lot as well, like you guys can see right there. If I don't look in that direction and I just hold the directional button, it'll do a diagonal dash like I just showed. So if you want to do a perfect dash in the direction that you're going, you have to look there and you have to dash in that direction. And again, looking in the opposite direction cancels the momentum that that is carrying you forward. That's a very important movement technique on Lash because you want to try to get into like little nooks and crannies on the map to get better positions, and it allows you to kind of like get in and out of fights very easily if you use the top of buildings and you use this double dash technique to like maneuver your way around the map. Alright, let's move on to the next part since I think I've explained movement pretty thoroughly. If anybody else has any questions, or sorry, not anybody else, but if anybody has any questions that they want to ask me about movement, I would be more than willing to get into a sandbox with you or get into a Discord call with you and actually just explain the movements, because there's a lot of things that are like super difficult, and like if there's any questions that you guys have, it'd be easier for me to do it live. I would also be open to streaming if that's something you guys are interested in. So like I said in my original lane phase guide, I really want to try to keep my videos to about 15 to 20 minutes maximum, because I feel like that's like the best consumer size video. And this video is already getting to be about 20 minutes, which is like I didn't expect this the simple like build and the movement to take so long. But I'm going to end this video now, and I'm going to upload a part 2 later, which will explain the 6 next segments that I'll show on the screen now that will be in the next video. Alright.